Mandla, Mandla. Viva EFF, viva! Viva EFF, viva! Forward to victory, forward! Forward to victory, forward! Thank you very much, National Chairperson, our Provincial Chair, Regional Chair, our Ward Councillor, Ward 9. We are very happy to be here, and I came because you voted for an EFF Ward Councillor. It has never happened in the Western Cape. It happened here for the first time, where people prove that the EFF exists in Western Cape. I'm not shocked by the things you are saying, because I know where DA governs, it doesn't look after black people. When you go to the white suburbs, you will never find them without toilets. But when you go to black people's areas, they don't have toilets. So we had the issue of the toilets, and we're going to make sure that our councillor lead that struggle in the municipality, so that even if they don't provide permanent toilets for now, they must provide an intervention while we are waiting for a permanent solution, because it's important that our people have got a place where they can go, not the field, not in a risky area, but in a safe environment. Councillor, when we were campaigning, we said we are going to fight for water in Ward 9, and said our people in Ward 9 do not have water. We are not running Saldanha municipality, but you are a councillor here. So we have to make some temporary intervention, because a councillor of the EFF must not be an elite. A councillor of the EFF must be the way you are. Be so grounded, be so disciplined, and serve your own people. That's why in the EFF we say councillors must buy buggies. They must not buy German machines without a buggy. So even if he buys BM or Benz, he must have a buggy. Why? Because your job started the day you were elected. You were supposed to go to the shacks of old people who don't have water and take their buckets and go and collect water on their behalf and deliver to old people who can't travel long distance. We don't have power in Saldanha, but you have power of a buggy. You must be seen to be doing something, because even when these people know that there's very little that you can do, but you are making the means to make sure that the vulnerable, the disabled, old gogos are helped to go and fetch water on their behalf. So when I came, the Treasurer General of the EFF said, we will donate 3 boreholes as a means of temporary intervention. So you must choose where these 3 boreholes will be and make sure that they are safe wherever they are. Even if you put them inside the yards of people, it's okay, as long as there is access to water as an immediate temporary intervention, while we are fighting in the council to have a clean water in each and every tap, because no one must queue for water. A human being must have a flushing toilet. If you are a human being and you don't have a flushing toilet, you must know that the ANC violated your rights for the past 30 years. Only animals must see it after putting it down. A human being must never see what was left when you stand up. You must flush so that it disappears immediately. Now that you don't have toilet, you still put it down, you see it. You must know they are treating you like animals. And on the 29th of May, you must show them that they never respected you, they never valued you. We want jobs for young people in the firms, also in the municipality. Not these jobs that are given to politically connected people. If you're not a DA member, you don't get a job in the municipality. If you are not an ANC member, you don't get a job in a municipality. We want you to get a job in a municipality because you have a South African ID and you qualify for the job, not because anyone did you any favor. In the EFF, no councillor will sleep with women in exchange for jobs like the ANC's do. They want sex before they give you a job. So we want you, the leaders of the EFF, to go into the firms and say, in Ward 9 there are a lot of young people who are unemployed, and we want you to employ them so that we fight poverty in this ward of the EFF. The EFF councillor must always be amongst the poor. When you are elected, the councillor of the EFF, if you leave this Ward 9 and go and stay in town, you must resign with immediate effect. Because a councillor must live amongst his or her own people. I hope after you are elected, and you are going to do it before I leave here, your cell number must be known by everyone here. Your address must be known by everyone here. So that when people have got problems, they can walk into your home and talk to you. Those who have phones, they can phone you and say, I've got a problem, please councillor, come and help us. We are not troubling you. You chose this thing. You came to our houses and provoked us, and we voted for you. Therefore, it's our turn now to come to your house. You came to our houses, we didn't chase you away during door to door. We're now coming to you to say to you, these are our problems. There must not be a poor person who dies in this area and they are unable to bury that person, and the EFF is nowhere to help poor people bury their loved ones. The EFF must always be there when a person dies, because as a councillor, you have a duty to know all the activities here. When there is a funeral, you must know. When there is a baby shower, you must know. When there is a wedding, you must know. And over, because it's your duty as a councillor to be with your people. We don't want to see you only during elections. Even after elections, we want to have an intimate relationship with our council. Fighters, there is a lot of corruption because of the DA that steals money in Saldanha municipality, and they don't get punished. Why? Because they are white people. When you are white and corrupt, it's not called corruption, it's called financial mismanagement. But when you are a black person, they say you are corrupt. So the corruption of Saldanha, it's a white corruption, and we must call it what it is. It is a DA corruption, which we must fight through our own ward councillor. Fighters, let's make sure that on the 29th of May, we repeat what we have done here in Ward 9. We must say through our votes, we want a 24-hour clinic. Utetilo Mama and said there's no clinic in this world. The EFF everywhere in South Africa says there must be a clinic in each and every ward. And that clinic must have an ambulance. Because what is a clinic without an ambulance? When you are sick at home, you can't walk to the clinic. The ambulance must come and fetch you. And you know what is even worrisome and painful is that where there are clinics, they close at 4 o'clock. It's like they say to you, you must be sick very fast before 4. If you make a mistake of being sick after 4, you won't have anywhere to go to. But imagine a pregnant woman. She doesn't know when she's going to give birth. And she goes to a clinic at 4:30. She's at the gate. They close the gate and she gives birth at the gate, and the child dies at the gate because we are led by fools who don't respect life and respect human beings. I'm not telling you a story. It happened in Skokuni, in Limpopo, where a woman went to a clinic. When she arrived, they just closed the gate. She gave birth and the child died. And we are helping her to sue government that if you had opened this clinic, that child was going to be alive. So the issue of clinics in each and every ward operating 24 hours, I'm happy Umama raised it because the people must know that we are not just talking. This is what our people want, because clinic is primary health. You know, once you have a clinic, we are going to make sure that a lot of people live for long. There is an illness called breast cancer. When you hear some lump in a breast and you go to a hospital and you find a long queue, all right, this is not a big problem, let me go home. Then you go home, it becomes a big problem. When you go back, they say this is breast cancer stage 4. But if you had a clinic, you just make a 10, they test you, they detect it much more early, and they are able to treat it and save life. When you say you want 24-hour clinics, you are not asking for luxury. You are asking for the protection of our people from curable diseases because of primary health care. We want these children to go to school free of charge. Because the ANC in 1994 said free education. Today they don't know what they promised us 30 years ago. Free education does not mean school fees. Because people think that when you say don't pay school fees, that means free. It's not free. Education is not school fees. That's why it's called education and not school fees. They say to you, don't pay school fees because you are poor. Then they say the same day after admitting you, you must go and buy school uniform. When do you become poor? When do you become rich? During school fees you are poor. During uniform you are rich. You must buy it. Education goes with textbooks. They must be free of charge. There must be a proper feeding scheme in each and every school, and children must not eat only during break. They must eat even after school, so that they don't go and look for food in other places. Because once you don't give these children food and they go home after school, there is no food and the parents are still waking. That's why these girl children go to sugar daddies, because they want food to survive. So you want to end sugar daddies and teenage pregnancy, support our children so that they can become children. We want children to be children. That's why in the EFF we are saying child grant must be doubled and we must pay more than 1,000 rand, because we don't want these children to go hungry, and we don't want the children of the poorest to go hungry. And when I say we are going to give you 1,000 plus for child support, they say you want these people to make children. I say to them, let them make children. There's no problem with making children. As a nation, we have a duty to multiply. If you don't multiply as a nation, you will be undermined by your enemies. Look at us here in South Africa. We've got minerals, but we are poor. Why? Because we're a small nation. China doesn't have minerals, but they are rich because they've got the quota of the world population in China. So the size matters when it comes to the revolution. So don't tell me that a person is poor and therefore must not make children. I was born poor myself, to a poor domestic worker. If my mother did not give birth to me, my family will not be where they are today. When you are saying, let this poor woman not be pregnant because she's poor. What if that child is the one who's going to change the life of that particular family, like we did in our own families? You must tell them, when they say to you, don't make children, you are poor, who's going to support these children? Tell them their father Malema will support them as a president of South Africa. Because we're not going to allow our children to become adults when they are young. Because when you are a child and there is no food at home, when you leave school, it means you must have a piece job. It means you must go around begging. That is not a job of a child. A child must be a child. Go home, do homework, go and play, and then come back, because tomorrow is a school day. You must never be obsessed with where am I going to get food as a child. We want social grant of Abu Gogo to be more than 4,000 rand, because Abu Gogo, Abu Kulu, they are the ones who are running these families. Without these Gogos here, we will all be in trouble. Because when you give them money, they don't go and play cards with the money. They don't play games with the money. They buy a bag of maize meal and put it behind the door, and they feed every African child who comes into that family. If it was not these Gogos, this poverty that I can touch in what 9, it was going to be worse. But our Gogos are trying everything in their power to make sure that we got something to eat, even when they've got nothing. That's why we must give them more money. They say, where will the money come from? I always answer them and say, we are going to remove positions of deputy ministers. What is a deputy minister? What is a job of a deputy minister? The most educated amongst you here don't even know these deputy ministers. Yet they get paid millions, and they've got a house in Cape Town, and they get a house in Pretoria. They've got a cars in Pretoria, cars in Cape Town. They've got staff members in Pretoria. They've got staff members here. We buy them food in Pretoria and even in Cape Town. But no one can explain what is the job of this people. Because Deputy Minister of Education, when the Minister of Education is not around, he is not allowed to sit in cabinet because they are not members of cabinet. Those are just positions created for ANC people just to please each other with our money. That's why we say we remove them. We save a lot of money and we take it to Abu Gogo because they deserve this particular money. Today, you know what is painful is that a doctor goes to school for 7 years, and after going to school for 7 years, a doctor in Cape Town is still marching for a job. There will never be a situation where you can say we have enough doctors. We will never have enough doctors. Even if we have enough doctors, we can give each street a doctor to look after because that's primary health. So, to say to people they must go to school for 7 years only to come back and not have a job, that must be a sin which government must never commit. Every doctor who finished school must go straight to a clinic or a hospital because their positions are there. The corrupt must create space for our doctors in the hospital. And why do you say this is an unemployed graduate? How can unemployment and graduate be in one sentence? You are either unemployed because you are not a graduate or you are a graduate. That's why we want to, before you finish your courses at TVET, to go and universities, to go and do practicals 6 months before you finish. Why? We want you to see your bosses, your potential bosses. They must see their potential worker. You also get practical experience, and when you finish, no one can say you don't have experience. Already when you go back to school to finish, your boss will be saying to you, well, now when you graduate, your position is already here because they saw your good hands and how hardworking you are. They don't have to see you for the first time through a CV. They had an immediate first experience with all of you. So we want every graduate to get a job. And if they don't get a job, they must get a stipend. They must be paid for going to school because education must pay. How do you say to us when we are young until we grow up, you say education pays, education pays. We go to school, we get education, we come back with no jobs and we are poor. Education must pay. It must pay through a job, it must pay through economic opportunity, or government must give you a stipend if they can't give you a job. They say, where will the money come from? I say, but you're already giving them money. You are giving them 370. Because this corrupt Ramaphosa with a big nose, he added now 20 rand. Because they want to buy your votes, they say they are increasing 350 with 20 rand to make it 370 because they think they can bribe you. I say to them, but you are already giving them money because you say all those who are unemployed and have got no means, you will give them 370. But why do you give them the same amount when they don't have the same qualifications? We must be given money according to our qualifications, so that we encourage children who come after you to go to school, because they will know education pays. Now you say to your child, go to school, get a degree, and then she says to you, Mama, why must I get degree? Because you've got a degree and uncle has got no metric, but both of you are getting 370. What is the point? I won't go to school. That's why we are saying we'll give them free education, give them jobs. In the absence of jobs, we must give them a stipend, because we want to make education fashionable. Here in Ward 9, we said we're going to fight for bursaries. Councillor, get our children bursaries, make sure they go to the best universities. When they arrive there, they must join the student command, which will make sure that they are well received in all the TVET colleges. So I am here to say to you today, our appointment with you did not end the day when you elected the EFF. That day was the beginning of a journey which is going to change the lives of our people in Ward 9. We are going to make this place a better place. We must show the whole of Western Cape and the whole of South Africa what an EFF government can do. It must start here in Ward 9, and every time, chairperson of the province, when you get opportunities, send them to Ward 9 so that others can learn through Ward 9 that when you vote for EFF, you vote for a caring government. And a caring government is not a government of luxury. I said to you, do the most simple things. These people will love you forever. Sometimes our people they know you have no power. They just want you to come and listen to them, hear their cries, so that when you leave, your consciousness is sharpened. So we say to Ward 9 in Saldanha, this is a home of the EFF, and we are going to make sure that this place becomes a better place. It must have proper roads, it must have electricity in each and every shack. There must be water, and there must be jobs for our people. Once we get those rights, these people on the 29th of May, they are just going to walk in there and say we are looking for our party which cares about black people. So I'm here just to say to you, thank you. You have made us people. We were not people before you voted for us. We came here to humble ourselves before you and say to you, we are here to serve. We are not arrogant. We are your messengers. Please use us and send us again on the 29th of May, because you know When the EFF is in parliament, no one sleeps in that parliament. The EFF keeps them awake. They think they can beat us up, throw us outside. When they throw us outside after beating us in parliament, we remember the people of Ward 9, Saldanha, their pain and their suffering, and we say the pain we felt yesterday is nothing compared to what the people of Ward 9 are feeling. That's why we go back the following day and started where we ended before they beat us. Point of order, Honorable Speaker. The EFF, during the State of the Nation this year, they banned our members and the EFF was not there. Go and look at the pictures of the State of the Nation. Everybody sleeping, including Peggy Kele. The beautiful Peggy Kele. Can you imagine when he's sleeping how he looks like? That's what happens when there is no EFF in parliament. You want a working parliament, you want an active parliament, you want parliament that holds the executive accountable. Vote for EFF on the 29th of May so that we can keep that parliament busy. That is the job of the EFF. Mapisa Ngakula, the Speaker of Parliament, ate a lot of bribes and she's going to be arrested. Whether she likes it or not, she's going to jail and she's going to be followed by Cyril Ramaphosa because Ramaphosa was found with money in the mattress and sofas. What kind of a president keeps money in the mattresses and in the sofas? Yes, put that money all over that big nose. That's why it's like that. And it was not enough to store it in that nose. Then he had to find other corners. He's going to jail. I can tell you now, there was a docket opened against Ramaphosa on Busasa money. And that docket was made to disappear by Batoi. We will not rest until Ramaphosa goes to jail. You don't have electricity today because of corruption of Ramaphosa and the ANC that destroyed ESCOM. Today there is no ESCOM. That's why we are all suffering. Today there is no Transnet, which used to create jobs. That's why we are suffering. Everything became worse under Ramaphosa. So the chairperson of the province lead these people on the 29th of May to vote for freedom. What 9 said to Western Cape, it's nice to stay in a liberated zone. This is a liberated zone, and the whole of Western Cape will be a liberated zone because they are going to follow in your footsteps. That's why yesterday we were in Gugulet. It was so packed because the people of Western Cape were saying yesterday, we want change like it happened in Ward 9. They knew that if Ward 9 can do it, Gugulet too can do it. The whole of Western Cape can do it. And that's why we want to take the land. Why? We don't want you to stay like this, where you are crammed as if you are sardines. We want you to have your own piece of land, enough so that you can even build your own houses when you get jobs from the EFF government. So we thank you for coming. The chairperson of the province said, you must not leave. He's got other things for you, which he will announce as our way of saying thank you very much for coming today and for voting for the EFF. Do not worry about my voice. I've been all over South Africa speaking. Saturday I was in Kimberley. Thursday I was in East London. Yesterday I was in Cooks. Today I'm in Saldanha. So this borrowed voice is now selling me out. But I'm happy it didn't die before I finish. Thank you very much. Freedom is coming on the 29th of May. Manja! Viva EFF, viva! Tata EFF, tata! Haikule EFF Saldan, haikule! Haikule EFF Wat 9, haikule! Haikule EFF Western Cape, haikule! Manja! Aunoma kubi! Siyaya! Siyaya! Oma kubi! Siyaya! Siyaya! Oma besikubola! Besishaya! Besibopa! Oma besikubola! Besishaya! Besibopa! Kubi, kubi, oh! Siyaya! Siyaya! Kubi, kubi, oh! Siyaya! Siyaya! Oma besitubola! Besishaya! Besibopa! Oma besitubola! Besishaya! Besibopa! Hooray! Namasa! Hooray! Tita! Kilambe! Kilatabata! Sormo! Asicha! Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm drunk? Sofa sketchy! Emoye! Sofa sketchy! Etati! Kichima! Sibram Konto! Alliance! Shoot to kill! Namasa! Kill the poor! The farmer! Kill the poor! The farmer! Brr, pa! Pa! Brr, pa! Pa!